the topic of today.
Again.
Topic of today. So me and Michael were talking before you got here about self-awareness. What is self-awareness to you, first of all, or awareness in general? Because I was saying to Michael, I don't know if what I'm thinking is self-awareness actually is self-awareness. Because I was saying that awareness is like really like being in touch with reality, right? Yeah. Being in touch with things that are real. So like bypassing all of the all of like the decorations and like the lies that we tell ourselves. Just seeing past all of that, right? So like before you got here, me and Michael were talking about death, right? Because there was a period where I was thinking about death a lot. Not in like a suicidal way. Just thinking about like the concept of death. And like I was thinking about like how we could die like at any point. You know, we are like on a journey to like an impending doom, right? That's like how I was thinking about it. It was like so vivid. Yeah. And I remember like a specific day, I was on my way to like one of our lectures, and I was like looking around, and I was like why does no one else seem to be thinking about this? Like, why do I seem to be the only one like who is kind of like thinking as if we're going to die one day, right? So I started like doing research about it, and like just thinking about why we just seem to like just suppress the thought of death, right? And then through my research, like I came to the conclusion that our minds are just kind of like wired in a way that we suppress things like this. We suppress thoughts about reality to keep us sane, right? So that's an example of a lie that I feel like we tell ourselves, that we got ages till we die, you know, we don't think about our mortality, right? And another example I think was like certain things that we celebrate, like birthdays and New Year's and all of these things that we put in place to kind of gloss up our kind of like very dull and pointless existence, in my opinion anyways, right? So I think awareness is when you think beyond all of those lies that we tell ourselves, all of these decorations. Awareness is when you think beyond that and you are just in touch with what is real.
But then
Just what it's
where
real.
do you draw the line at what's a decoration though? Because like you need an entry point to reality. Like you need some way to process it. So
Right.
it's like,
That's what I was saying.
where do you draw the line between what's real and what's not, in a sense, or what's part of the stuff you make up to make sense of things?
I mean, I guess just anything that you can't. I don't want to sound like, because I'm not like a physicalist. I'm not like someone who just really kind of like only upholds what you can touch, right? The tangible things. But I guess anything that you can't like justify like in that way is just a decoration. Anything that you can't like like when people celebrate their birthdays, that again, I don't want to like come across as like someone who like just shitting on everyone's parade, because like I celebrate birthdays as well, but I'm just aware whilst I'm doing it that there's no reason for me to do this, right? Like that's what I mean by being in touch with what is real. Like when you celebrate,
don't you think like it's like okay, but I mean I get it, like maybe it does, it's not real as in the sense like it doesn't exist, right? But I guess like okay, the thing doesn't exist is a bit strong, but
it doesn't though.
It does because
in what sense?
Because you exist, right? Like
it's not even a question of existence; it's a question of meaning, isn't it? You give that.
I guess
meaning.
Yeah, but your existence gives your birthday meaning, because if you're not there, your birthday is never celebrated.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, see, if we look at it like in reality, you're there, you're a person, right? And like your birthday has meaning because it marks a particular time in like a calendar when you came into existence, I guess, maybe. Like, I don't know, like
revolutions of the earth around the sun. So
yeah, but that's my point. So whether I celebrate a full 25 years of me being here, right, or celebrate 25 years in 10 days, it makes like there's no difference. It's it's both like they're both
But culturally, we always celebrate a year, right? Like, but some years have more significance than others. Like
significance.
18, 21.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't really. Like it's just something that we tell ourselves to gloss up our existence. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's why I'm using that as an example of a decoration, a lie that we tell ourselves, right? And again, this isn't like I'm not trying to be like a party pooper. Like I'm not. I'm just using that as an example of something that we tell ourselves to kind of like make the ride a little bit easier, right? Make it a little bit more enjoyable. And I think awareness is when you get past that, when you think beyond these things, you are aware of reality, because that stuff isn't reality, really. It's not real. It's like fairy dust. It's not real, is it? It's not.
I mean,
so going back to like my original question, is awareness not just being in touch with things beyond those decorations and those lights, right? And self-awareness is doing the same thing but with yourself. So like all the lies that you tell yourself. I don't want to like turn this into like like some depressing shit. I feel like I've just like made you both of you just like rethink your entire existence. That's not my goal here. I'm just saying, like, so certain lies that we tell ourselves, like, oh gosh, this isn't gonna brighten up the mood anymore. But like,
it's quite depressing.
But we tell ourselves that we're special to some extent. But really, what does special even mean? Like, it doesn't make sense to say that about ourselves. Do you know what I mean? So I think self-awareness is when you are just like being real with what is real, essentially. So my question in all of this is, if you agree that that is what self-awareness is and that's what awareness is it a good thing? Or is it better?
Self-awareness a good thing?
Yeah. Or is it better to just kind of like just be
airy fairy, don't care?
Yeah, like, just be like ignorant to what is real, I guess. If that's what you think awareness is, people listening as well might think that awareness is something completely different. They might just think that I'm some.
But do you think there are levels
depressing
of self-awareness, like levels?
There's levels. Yeah, I do, and I think the awareness that I'm talking about may be too far, like
deep, sort of like existential.
Yeah, it might be too much.
So you think there's no benefit of realizing that?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Like I've been searching for that. Like there must be.
That birthdays don't mean anything.
Oh yeah.
But
okay.
See, this is another thing that I was struggling with. Like that's just unfair. It's unfair that like people who do have that level of awareness, like kind of have to suffer for it.
But that's not the ultimate conclusion, though. Like, you can't just come to the conclusion that birthdays mean nothing, like, because that's based on like some kind of value system or system with assigned meaning. So it's like you could just have a different, like you could go a step further and then come to realize that birthdays actually do mean something, if that makes sense, in a way.
But how would you? And that's another thing. Again, disclaimer: I'm not some depressing dude who's trying to like tell everyone that the end of the world is coming, but. Like, how do you get to that point? Like, I want to live in a world where birthdays mean shit as well. I want to live in a world where, like, I can just, like, make up things to kind of gloss my life up as well. How do you do that? How do you get to a point where you can, like really rationalize these types of things that we do?
But because...
Say, you got an answer.
Because what's the argument for believing that they are meaningless?
I mean, they don't have any. What is the meaning?
Apart from that, they're not tied to physical reality.
What is the meaning? What is the meaning?
But you know what?
I guess
like this is like another thing that I want to say though. Like I think you've got a good point, right?
Yeah.
How do you get to the point where you rationalize like a birthday's meaning, right? Maybe you can't rationalize a birthday's meaning. Maybe it's just an irrational thing.
But then
like,
should we be doing it?
But like not everything that we do should be rational, right?
Not should we be doing it.
Like
what is a rational thing then?
Emotions. Emotions.
What is an irrational action then?
No, some like you can have rational actions, right?
Yeah, like what?
Okay, for example, like if I'm really upset, right, with somebody, I shouldn't stab them, right? Like that's like an
Based
irrational
off the irrational belief that stabbing people is wrong.
No,
Right.
based
That
off
is
the
an
rational
irrational-
belief that stabbing somebody else is wrong, right? Like there's a rational.
But that's
there's
another-
rationale
but that's a-
behind it.
that's
But
a-
yeah.
once you keep tracing it back, there's no.
That is
Subtitle.
another decoration. That is
Right.
another.
What, like not stabbing people?
No, morals are decoration. Like morals are another
I
thing
mean,
that we.
they might be, but they're like
It's a
I mean,
question.
it
is
I
though.
mean, if you say that they're decoration, they're like that's like kind of like saying that, like life, like life in general, like people in general are just meaningless.
I mean, that's.
No, it's not.
He's agreeing. That's his position.
Like, it's not though, because it's not saying that it's meaningless. That's like saying that it's meaningless is like a positive statement. It's like you're making a statement. This is meaningless. But if you just acknowledge that it hasn't got an argument behind it, you're not necessarily saying it's meaningless. You're just saying there's no, like,
Nothing to ground it.
yeah.
Well, but there is this the fact that everyone should have like the view of again it's not
Yeah.
rights again non-existent thing, but like again
But if you really want to be difficult, you can keep asking why. And it's like there's nothing.
yeah, but I mean, but that I think like but that's like a very like strong kind of skepticism, right? Where like you just keep on retracting and retracting, and then you keep going further and further back
Right.
until I mean, like it's the whole like Descartes thing again, isn't it? You get
What-
to the point where like what has meaning, it's like, oh, what can I trust?
But
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. Maybe that's argument against this form of awareness, or defining awareness in this way.
Yeah, no, but no, don't get me wrong, right? Like what are you thinking about?
No,
No,
I was
like,
just checking if it was good.
no,
Yeah,
like
go on.
don't get me wrong. Like I can argue that yes, there is a skeptical view that keeps on going that way, right? But even a skeptical view has to find something to point out the fact that it's got no meaning, right? Like, and I think like even that that act of saying, "Oh, life," yeah, like, but we're all aware what a life is, what a person is, all those things, right? So clearly we have like some kind of like situated meaning to these things, right? Like, when you have a life, like we're like, oh, you do stuff, and like it's a complex thing, right? It's an abstract idea, but it's a complex abstract idea, if that makes sense. I don't know if anyone's with me here.
No,
Yeah. But like, okay, look,
I wanted to know what your idea of awareness is again, because I've forgotten.
my idea of awareness.
Yeah.
take-
My idea of awareness.
Yeah.
My idea of awareness, and I want you guys to tell me if you agree as well, because I kind of just rambled on at the beginning. But my idea of awareness is being in touch with what is real. That is awareness to me. I am aware of what is real. It doesn't mean that I can't partake in things that aren't real. It just means that I am in touch with what is real. And
so what's real for
I
you?
don't
What's real for you?
That's it. That was my question.
Yeah,
I guess
what
what-
is real for you though?
What is
Yeah.
real for me is, I guess, things that I can measure, things that I can justify, things that I can. I guess maybe.
But even like a measurement, like the idea of a measurement is not real. Like,
But that's
like,
it.
like
Well,
a
well,
centimeter is a made up.
Well,
type of
when
measurement.
I say measure, I don't mean like actually measure like on a weighing scale or anything,
Yeah.
but like things that I can. I don't even know what the word for it is. Like,
Perceive.
like
I guess like.
Well, how about okay? Then let's just take it back. Then, like, how about if you were like in some kind of like matrix type machine, and this is all, whatever. So that's not real then.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
how
I don't.
Could you be sure?
I mean, but like I can only. That's what I'm saying. I'm only gonna go off of what I can perceive, or what I
Perceive.
can touch, or what I can rationalize. I guess.
so you don't believe
Yeah.
in things like ideas, like you don't believe in like ideas or like that ideas have like power or like things like that.
Not really. I guess not really. Like not
Yeah.
in themselves, not without tangible action.
But you can act off an idea, like. But I mean, what is an action without an idea? Like, except like a reflex. Like, I mean, I'm just wondering, like, what would that even be like to never think?
I mean,
about
but
an
then
action?
but then we're getting into like the argument of whether ideas are and thoughts are like physical. Because if they are, then it would kind of.
I mean, I don't want to talk about like whether or not they're physical, but I'm just saying like there is something. There's some kind of impression that happens in like the brain or the mind or whatever, right?
Right.
Which kind of gives life color. Let's put it like that. You're just like in your corner. He's like, what's going on, man? You just philosophizing.
Is it like deep contemplation?
Mate.
That is, can I just say, that is like so rewarding. Like for me, when I bring things like this up and I just see people just in the corner, just like that's so rewarding for me. But yeah,
but that's what I mean. Like, okay, like let's just take this. Like we like create like impressions about everything, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe like we can talk about like fashion, music, all those things, right? They are like all expressions of something, right? So like how I see it is, if we couldn't make those impressions, or we didn't have like views of certain things like clothing or like music or like sounds or even just people, right? Like what would it be like to just kind of be thoughtless, if anything? Like you just...
It would be like... Wouldn't it be like just living like the rest of the animals? Like just...
Yeah, but like we... Like, I mean, like, because my view is that like people, like human beings, because like whenever people are like trying to compare people and animals, right? Like... Yeah. I always ask them, like, do you really want to compare, like, something as complex as the human mind, right?
But that's what I'm saying. But that's my very point. Yeah. Like, we're complex because we have the ability to rationalize past our, like, primal instincts, right?
Okay.
But, like, the things that we do with our rationalization is the decoration that I'm talking about. Like, the only thing that is real is the primal part of us. The only thing that
nothing else.
The only thing that is real is, well, I don't know what is real. I don't know what.
Well, but like we've got like capacities though, don't we?
Yeah.
Like for art, for like music, things like that. Like, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, so and no animal ever exhibits that. Like, you don't see animals doing anything.
Just because animals don't apply the decoration to their lives, though. That's what I'm saying.
They don't have the capacity for it. And that's what gives, like, I think that's what gives human life meaning, is that we have this capacity to do certain things. Like, we can decide how we want, like, the earth to look. You know what I mean? Like, we can make structures, we can do things, you know, it's, like, we can terraform places. Like, you know, we can, like, modify other organisms so that they're more specialized to what we want them to do. Like, we can change how crops behave. Like, say what you want to say.
I think you could notice that, like maybe awareness could be noticing that birthdays and all of that stuff are just beliefs, and that's separate from like physical reality.
Yeah.
So maybe being aware is having the ability to notice that beliefs are just beliefs. That's
where I'm at.
And that covers everything, like morals. Birthdays,
yeah, that's where I'm at.
School,
that's where I'm at. Like that's what I'm saying.
So it's just the ability to notice it.
Yeah. It's not to like just disregard it and just go live in a cave. Like I believe that it's very possible to have awareness of what is real and engage in everything, all the decoration and all the lies and everything. You know, I to some extent believe that I'm doing it. I don't know if that's what I'm saying. That's what I said at the beginning. I don't know if what I'm even thinking about is awareness. But whatever I'm thinking about, and whatever I'm like kind of going through, I could go through that and engage in all of the fun and happiness and all and the decoration.
Play the game of birthday.
Yeah, at the same time. But the only thing is, I kind of, I guess, owe it to myself to at least acknowledge that I'm partaking in a lie. Like, I can't tell myself this like real. Do you know what I mean? I have to kind of go through shit like telling myself that it's...
I don't know about calling it real though. I get what you're saying, but noticing that it's made up, but the effects of it are real. So it's like it's real in a sense, like, because it's just an idea. It doesn't have to exist, maybe, but it still has effects in the real world. So like, it's real in a way, but I'm with you though.
No, I know. But like, what sense is? And this isn't even like the topic that I had planned. I wanted to get like beyond this, but since we're here, in what sense can it be real? Like, in what sense? Because because I could just make up some other holiday or celebration, and if the world agrees with it, they all celebrate it on every year on the 27th of October. They'll celebrate Happy Adley Day, right? And then that becomes real just by virtue of me saying it. Like, is that how it works? Like, you just.
But I think that no, sorry, I was going off on some other tangent. I don't know if it's related. But I think that applies to everything though, because like you can call this a microphone, but that's still just a made up thing, because in reality it's just some wires and whatnot.
Yeah.
Those are all just made up concepts that you use to.
But everyone else refers to it as a microphone.
Yeah,
and
but
everyone else knows that it's your birthday.
So they're equally as real or not real or whatever. Like your birthday and the
microphones.
Yeah.
And like the sound of a bell being a bell.
Yeah, but like I guess
it's just a sound like whatever.
I guess I don't have any issue like equating the two. Like I don't have any issue saying that a birthday is just as made up as the concept of a microphone. Like, I don't have any issue with that. As long as I don't live like that, because if I lived like that, I wouldn't be able to function. I wouldn't be able to function.
Wait, can I ask a question? I think I've got a question.
A little bit.
I feel like I've got a question for you guys, right?
Yeah.
What about you? What about, okay, like we're talking about self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
How about people who like live life, right? Like they're some kind of like, you know, big shot, or big person, whatever, that kind of thing, right? If they're lying about the kind of person that they are, right?
Yeah.
Then is that like a rejection of self-awareness, and instead like deciding to like?
But what if they genuinely believe that they're a big shot because they've done things that make them a big shot in their life, and they have that belief and they know that. It's
but how about if nobody? How about if nobody else believes that? Like, I mean, no.
But that's just one of a vast like array of beliefs that you can have.
Okay, let's just say, for example, I think I'm like a big shot gangster, but I'm really not, right?
Yeah.
And nobody thinks that.
But this is so.
Yeah.
What you're saying right now is my point, and I guess that's how you go from awareness in general, so awareness about the world, to awareness to self-awareness.
Yeah, self-awareness.
Because self-awareness, so like if in the same way that we kind of just like throw ideas out there, like birthdays, and we just say that they're real, does that mean that someone could just throw an idea about themselves out there and just say that that's real? That it's the same thing.
But some people do that, and they're just liars. Like,
but
because we can't put ideas out there that are in contradiction with reality. So if someone says that they're a certain way and their actions contradict that, then you can doubt that belief. Yeah. But if it's a birthday, you can't doubt that belief because it's just a birthday.
But also at the same time though, but is it actually your birthday? You know what I mean? Like, was it actually the day that you were born? You know what I mean? You know, like, wait, no,
like, what if the nurse got the date wrong or some shit?
Well, like, but in a sense though, like we still have, we try to create systems that like allow them to exist in reality. You know what I mean? Like you can take a person's passport and be like, oh, that's not actually your birthday, is it? You know.
But the a birthday, I don't have any issue with birthdays, but my I guess my issue with things like that, with these decorations, is not that we acknowledge them, but we treat them as if they're like some type of celebration. That's the lie. Like
the celebration.
I mean, why is it like like that's like part of the lie. Part of the lie isn't just, it's not just acknowledging, because that's not a lie. Like saying that I was born exactly 25 years from this point isn't the lie. The lie is saying that this should be celebrated more so than any other day. Like that's the lie that I'm talking about, I guess.
But I think it's a cultural thing.
It's not a lie though, because it's not in contradiction with anything that exists.
But there's no reason for it, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel like it's a cultural thing.
Well, maybe the reason for it is to make people feel good.
The reason is to make people, but there's no like logic to it, I guess. It's like, okay, you can make people feel good on a day that's not your birthday as well. You can make people like everything that we do on New Year's, we could do tomorrow at 5.
Sure. Yeah.
Like there's no rhyme or reason to what we're doing. We're just doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the decoration that I'm talking about.
But it's not a lie though, because it's not contradicting anything. It's just not. There's no reason for it.
I suppose it's not a lie, but decoration. It's a decoration. It's not attached to anything. It's just like.
But do you think? But I feel like, wait, do you think that that's like self-awareness, or do you think that's having a perspective? Like, seeing birthdays as like, they're not really meaningful. It's just a lie. But then some people might be like, well, I think like birthdays are very important. You know what I mean? Like the important celebrations. Like, because I feel like, is that having like a are you having like a certain type of way of looking at the world? Is that just your perspective? Or is it like, maybe birthdays do have meaning? Because like you can't disprove that they don't have meaning, right? Like, I mean, how would you do that? I mean, somebody please entertain
I mean, I guess you could. I feel like everyone in this room right now is just in deep, like we're thinking as we're talking. Maybe we should have like thought about it before we came to. You know, we'll do a part 2. We'll do a part 2 of the same conversation.
I feel like this is a speedballing session.
Yeah, but let's keep it going because I'm enjoying it. But what did you just ask?
Yeah, but like, okay, right? My first question is, is it having a perspective to say that things like birthdays don't have meaning, right? And like, if it's not a perspective, like how do you prove that birthdays don't have meaning? If a person can legitimately stand by it, let's just say if like.
Well, it's not on, like say I'm the one saying the birthdays don't have meaning, right?
Yeah.
It's not on me to prove that. It's for you to prove that it does, right? Like you have to prove that it has.
Also, how about if I just said, like the meaning is the celebration, the fact that people meet up, the fact that people know what a birthday is, like that's meaning in itself.
But so then we could just, I mean, I guess we could just give meaning to anything then. We can just celebrate Adley Day every year on the 27th of October. We can do that, and it has meaning just because I say it has meaning. Is it as arbitrary as that?
But are as many people willing to participate?
But why does
the idea of a made up birthday?
But why does it matter?
Or a made up day?
Why does it matter whether it's one person celebrating it or 6 billion people celebrating it? What difference does it make?
Well, but like I think that
maybe awareness is the ability to acknowledge the different perspectives that exist.
Yeah, I would say that. I would agree with that.
To acknowledge that different perspectives exist.
So one guy is celebrating birthday every year. You're celebrating Adley Day.
Yeah.
I
mean, the fact that you're even laughing at that idea right now,
just being able to like step back and notice that they're all beliefs and all perspectives.
Yeah,
that's awareness. So,
yeah, but you also have to. You could that is part of it, but I think the main part of what awareness is saying, okay, I acknowledge that these are all beliefs, but then what's real? I acknowledge what is real.
Okay, you know what?
What is real is that, I don't know if I want to get into it now because it'll take us to like a different but it was what we were talking about like last time we were here.
Yeah.
Like remember I was using the tree example. Like I was saying like, you know, like how you see a leaf fall from a tree.
Yeah.
You don't attach anything. It's just an event that happens.
Yeah.
You don't attach anything to it. It is what it is. Why is life any different? I mean, I know why people treat life different because it's like it's like the most grand thing that we will ever experience.
Yeah, but and that's the thing though. It's like I think that's meaning might be just a thing that is like to us, but like to human beings. Like, human beings can make meaning. But then
it's I think my issue with it is the meaning that you guys are talking about or the meaning that I'm understanding.
Yeah.
And the meaning that everyone provides to things is so arbitrary. Like, there's not even any point in talking about meaning then. Because you give meaning to birthdays, you give meaning to the microphone, you give meaning to Adley Day. Like, you give meaning to anything. So it doesn't matter. Like, the word doesn't mean anything. The word meaning doesn't mean anything.
The word means the thing. It's like the word points points towards something.
Maybe I just
Like Adley, like there you are, like there, meaning like right there.
Yeah,
It's like,
but I'm real though. Like
yeah.
I'm here.
yeah, of course.
And your name could be anything else.
Yeah, your name. Yeah.
My name could be anything else as well.
But, like-
even my name doesn't have any meaning. Like,
No, but that's beyond the point. The point is that like okay, look, if I went to a group of people, right, I'm like, oh, do you guys know Adley, right?
yeah,
I think none of them knew Adley, right? It means that name has no meaning to them, like in a sense, right? But like if I went to Ed, like, oh, did you see Adley the other day? We both know who we're referring to, like, so there is meaning in our conversation. I was like, oh, I saw Adley yesterday. He was saying whatever, and he'd be like, oh yeah, Adley, that guy. You know what I mean? Like,
but okay.
and like
So,
that requires awareness of who Adley is.
but okay. So when you say, let's pick another name. Let's say John, right?
Yeah.
Say I change my name to John tomorrow, right? And you go to your friends and you say, oh, do you know who John is? They attach. Okay, so you have the label John.
Mm-hmm.
The physical me, is attached to that name in their mind, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The same way it's attached to Adley. It was attached to Adley the day before, when my name was still Adley, right?
Okay.
Me, the physical being, is attached to that label, whatever label you choose, right?
Yeah.
But me, I am still real. So as long as I'm real, that's the only thing that matters. When you have things like birthdays and shit, like, it's not attached to anything that's
But your
of
birthday's
substance.
attached to you though.
But it's not attached to anything of substance, though. Is what I'm saying. Like,
But
Apart from a day, one particular day, which is
But it's like the day and the person.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
I used to go home and lock myself in a room and just think about this a little bit more.
alright, okay, I wanna say something though about like self awareness, right?
Yeah.
I think like